Welcome to today's Explainer. We are jumping right into a topic that is honestly incredibly real for a lot of us right now. We're looking at this fantastic guide by Mohammed Mateen from Simply Saving More, and it's completely focused on how to save money when you are on a genuinely tight budget. Because let's be honest for a second, standard budgeting advice, it can be so incredibly frustrating when your money is already stretched to the absolute limit. It kind of feels like the folks giving the advice just don't get what it means to truly scrape by. Right off the bat, we've got to tackle this very real question. How do you save when there is literally nothing left? I mean, it is so invalidating to hear standard financial advice tell you, just cut out your daily latte or stop buying avocado toast. When you're living on a tight budget, you aren't buying lattes in the first place. You're staying home, you're cutting corners, and the very idea of putting anything aside feels completely laughable. So the tips we're going through today, they're tested by real people in real financial difficulty. We are entirely skipping the out-of-touch fluff. So here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll hit the tight budget trap. Then Rule 1, habit over amount, followed by hacking your daily routine, slashing your monthly bills, and finally, what to do when expenses exceed income. Okay, let's dive into Section 1, the tight budget trap, and why that standard advice fails us. The foundation we really need to build on here is this. The challenge you're facing, it is not a lack of effort. It's definitely not a lack of discipline. It's simply that there is genuinely very little margin to work with. And because your margin is so razor thin, those big sweeping lifestyle changes the financial gurus love to talk about, they just don't work for you. Instead, you've got to be creative. You've got to be strategic. You need to make very small, manageable changes across a bunch of different areas, rather than trying to make one massive, painful change in just one spot. Moving right along to Section 2. Rule 1. Habit over amount, or as I like to think of it, building the savings muscle. Notice the stark contrast here. Most of us try to save last, right? We pay our bills, we buy our groceries, and then we just sort of cross our fingers and hope something is left at the end of the month. But when money's tight, spoiler alert, there's never anything left. The source material emphasizes a complete shift. We have to switch to saving first. Before you pay a single bill, literally the moment your paycheck hits, you transfer something, anything, to a savings account, even if it's just $5. The habit of saving first is vastly more important than the actual dollar amount. You're building a muscle. Because at the end of the day, consistency beats volume. Let's look at how that consistency plays out week by week. Week 1, you save $5. Week 2, another $5. Week 3, you feel a bit braver and bump it up to $7. And week 4, another $7. By doing these incredibly small, consistent actions, you've just generated a very real $24 in your first month. Yeah, it's small, but it's real. And as you implement more strategies, you'll be able to slowly increase that amount. But quick question, where do you actually put that $24? Well, to protect these small savings, you absolutely need to keep them in a separate account, ideally at a completely different bank from your normal everyday checking account. You want this money out of sight and out of mind. Actually, it's a strategy that works terribly for leftovers in your fridge, but perfectly for your savings. Make it slightly inconvenient to access. That way, when a minor temptation pops up, it's just way too much of a hassle to dip into those funds. All right, on to Section 3. Hacking your daily routine for those easy wins in food and habits. Food is usually your most flexible expense, and your absolute biggest weapon here, meal planning. Doing this before you shop can easily save you up to $200 a month. Next, embrace the discount stores. Places like Aldi or Lidl offer the exact same quality for 20 to 40% less. Oh, and don't sleep on the frozen aisle. Frozen veggies are highly nutritious, they last forever, and they cost a fraction of the price of fresh produce. Finally, when you cook, make double or triple portions and just freeze the extras. It entirely eliminates that huge temptation to order takeout when you're just too exhausted to cook. Let's pause for a second. $2,600. The math here is just absolutely staggering. Buying lunch at work costs, on average, $8 to $12 a day, right? But packing a simple lunch, that costs maybe $2 to $3. If you pack those $2 lunches 5 days a week, you are saving up to $2,600 a year. That is literally life-changing money, just from bringing a sandwich or some leftovers to the office. Beyond food, there's some incredible, easy daily habit hacks. Try implementing one no-spend day every single week. Think about it. That's 52 days a year your money stays right in your pocket. You can combine this with the roundup method. So a $7.40 coffee becomes an $8 charge, and that 60 cents is secretly tucked into your savings. Add in a quick 5-minute scan for digital coupons on your phone before you hit the store, or using cashback apps like Ibotta and Rakuten for things you're already buying anyway. You are quite literally generating free money into your budget, and it's completely painless. Let's shift gears to section 4, slashing your monthly bills to lower your household overhead. So your house is likely hiding money from you. Tumble dryers, for example, are notoriously expensive energy hogs. Simply air drying your laundry puts $20 to $40 right back in your pocket every single month. Swapping to LED bulbs, they use 75% less energy and last 25 times longer. Add in washing your clothes on cold and dropping your thermostat by just 2 degrees, and you are shrinking your monthly overhead with absolutely zero loss in comfort. Next up, we need to be absolutely ruthless with recurring charges. I want you to go through your bank statements right now and cancel any subscription you haven't actively used in the past 30 days. Most people find $30 to $80 a month just in forgotten subscriptions. Then, take a hard look at your phone plan. Providers like Mint Mobile or Visible offer the exact same coverage for a fraction of the price of the major carriers, often starting at just $15 a month. Finally, pick up the phone and negotiate. Call your internet and insurance providers and simply ask for a lower rate. Seriously, a basic 30-minute phone call can unlock hundreds of dollars in savings a year, just because companies will often reduce your bill to keep your business. And remember, having a good lifestyle does not have to cost a fortune. Your local library is an absolute goldmine, not just for books, but for audiobooks, DVDs, and even free streaming services that can easily replace $30 to $50 a month in entertainment. When you need clothing or furniture, always check Facebook Marketplace or thrift stores first. You can find excellent items for 70 to 90% off retail. You can even make your own all-purpose cleaning products for pennies using just white vinegar, baking soda, and dish soap. You save money, and you get to feel like a mad scientist doing it. And for fun, seek out free community events, museum days, and outdoor hiking. Which brings us to section 5, when expenses exceed income, the safety net. I want to slow down for a second here because I need you to hear this loud and clear. If your expenses genuinely exceed your income, there is no amount of clever budgeting tips that will create savings out of thin air. You cannot budget your way out of a mathematical impossibility. And, most importantly, there is absolutely no shame in needing help. The safety nets and resources we are about to discuss, they exist for exactly this situation, and utilizing them is the smartest financial move you can possibly make. So, if you find yourself in this situation, here are the 4 critical steps you need to take. First, access every single benefit and assistance program you qualify for. Just get them going. Second, actively look for ways to increase your income, because sometimes the problem really just requires more money coming in, not just fewer expenses going out. Third, look at drastically reducing your biggest heavy-hitting expenses, like housing and transportation. And fourth, get support from community resources. Contact local food banks to help with groceries, reach out for utility help, and proactively contact your creditors to ask about hardship programs. That is exactly what those resources are there for, so please use them. Saving money on a tight budget is a genuine challenge, for sure. But with the right mindset and strategic action, you absolutely can do this. Don't let the sheer number of tips we covered overwhelm you. The goal here is just to start with 3 or 4 tips from this list and implement them consistently this week. Remember, $5 a week, $10 a week, it might seem like a drop in the bucket today, but over time, these small amounts are going to compound and build into a very real foundation of financial security. You are building the habit. So as we wrap up today's explainer, I want to leave you with one direct question. Out of all the strategies we covered today, from saving first, to packing a lunch, to rounding up your spare change, which of these tips are you going to try first? Pick your starting point, take control of your financial habits today, and I will catch you in the next one.